Welcome back to DXB today, and on this episode we are discussing what exactly investors are looking for from a rock-solid business plan and a clear financial roadmap that drives your idea forward. So, if you want to know what investors look for when making a pitch, then our co-host is here to guide you because he is the founder of Dubai Angel Investors. Please welcome to the show, Abdullah Mutawi. Abdullah, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Just before the show, backstage, I was chatting to my stylist. He's been in the business for many, many years, and he was telling me, Ash, I think I'm just going to quit what I do right now and go to some other country and just be zen. So I said, let me guess, you want to go to Bali and open your own tea shop? He's like, how did you know? I said, you and at least 35,000 other people have told this to me. Everyone has dreamt of this idea at some point or the other. But whatever, any business, no matter how big or small, requires funding. So where can they start?
Look, I mean, where you start is by having a great idea for a product that is going to solve a problem for people. I think you've got to be confident that that's what you're doing. And once you have something like that, investors will find you, especially in our region where there's a lot of available capital. There are a lot of people that want to support entrepreneurs. But all investors are looking for the same thing, which is that killer product that's solving a problem for whatever customer you're going to sell that product to. And so in essence, where you start is by making sure that you're developing something that is solving a problem.
I wanted to ask you, I wanted to dissect this for anyone that doesn't know what angel investing is. So can you just break it down for us?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the reason that angel investors are called angels is because they will give you money when nobody else will.
Yes.
And so it's kind of like I'm a guardian angel, or I have cash and I'm going to put something with you at a very high risk to myself because I want to support you as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So Abdullah, you mentioned a good idea. That was the first thing you said. You've got to have a good idea. But some bad ideas still make money, man.
Yeah.
And how do you decipher which is a good idea from a bad idea?
Yeah, look, I mean, actually a good idea by itself is not enough. And this is something else that investors really look for, is somebody with a good idea, it's fine, but they need to convince an investor that they can also execute on that. Now, you say some businesses were a bad idea, but they got funded. That's true. Actually, Amazon and Uber are two famous companies that are multi-billion-dollar valuations, even when they were still losing money. But what was good about their models was that they were bringing a lot of people into their ecosystem. Yeah. And that's what investors believed in. If you can attract 100 million, 300 million, a billion, IKEA is another one, by the way. You know, they have nearly 1 billion people going through their stores every year. And that business has reached where it is today. Estimates put its overall value at about $100 billion. They've never accepted a single investment or taken any debt from anyone. So, you know, but it started out as a pretty bad idea. The guy who founded it was selling matches and pens in a little town in Sweden. So you're right. I mean, the question is, are you somebody who can take a vision of your idea and actually execute on getting it into the market, putting it into people's hands, getting them to pay for it, and getting them to come back for more?
I believe I am, actually, Abdullah. I believe I am. So tell me more about Dubai, the actual angel investment as well, the company that you formed.
Yeah. So Dubai Angel Investors is it's a sort of hobby, it's a project. I'm a member of a network with about 100 people. We're all, I would say, senior members of the business community in Dubai. We are professionals, all of us. We all have full-time jobs. About 6 or 7 years or 8 years ago now, we decided that we were going to get together as a group and find young entrepreneurs who are launching businesses and support them in their journey and give them money at that early stage when nobody else will. So that's where the name Dubai Angel Investors comes from. I think what's a little bit different about us is that we have these now 100 members who know a lot about business. And so what we bring to the table, and you were talking about good partnerships earlier, is, you know, I've got 100 people from multiple industries that can bring expertise, knowledge, network, open customer bases for the companies that we invest in. And so we sort of use it as a platform to bounce ideas off each other, to learn together about how to invest in early stage companies and support investors, support founders, I should say.
Abdullah, I was fascinated by something you said a little bit earlier on about, and you gave Amazon and Uber as examples, some billion-dollar companies that started out to look like bad ideas at the start. So there's a real knack, there's a real skill to spotting what the next big thing might be, and I'm sure that's not easy. How do you go about doing that?
Look, I mean, you observe the general direction of travel. I mean, in our region, we have had the benefit of being able to observe what's happening in other markets, bigger markets, more advanced markets. So, the US has given us a great insight into what's coming next. The US, Europe, China. So, as everybody knows, right now, anything that's driven by AI is part of the next big thing. All investors are desperate to find an investment in the AI space that's going to turn into something big and give them a big return.
I wanted to ask you, for someone who wants to look for investments, for example, and wants to make a great pitch, what are some of the advice or things that they need to follow in order to give you maybe a strong pitch than a weak one that won't go through or something?
Yeah, good question. Look, a strong pitch is delivering a message really concisely, telling a story, presenting a credible impression of yourself to your investor.
Yeah.
And in every pitch, it comes down to two things: facts and promises. Facts: what is your market? Who are your customers? What is the demand for your product? These, you present them as facts. Promises are, what am I going to do with your money?
Yeah.
And you've got to be super credible in both. So a really good pitch is somebody who comes and speaks concisely, clearly, tells a great story, and is absolutely credible both on the facts and the promises.
How do you think marketing is playing a role in this? Because marketing is very important, especially in this day and age with social media.
Yeah.
How can that help people with their...
Look, I mean, Lane made the point earlier that there are some bad businesses that get funded.
Yes.
Usually it's because the person who's pitching them is really good at marketing.
Yes.
So, going back to your point about storytelling, that's clearly something that makes you very successful. So yeah, generally speaking, marketing, whether you're a B2B business targeting business consumers or B2C business targeting customers, you've got to be able to get your product into the market. And obviously there are millions of ways now of being able to do that, social media and various other ways of getting to customers. But you've got to know what your go-to-market strategy is and be really good at it.
Wonderful. Abdullah, I'm so happy that you're our guest co-host for tonight. So you're going to be with us for the whole evening. So yeah, we're going to chat to you a bit later. But right now, next up, when we come back, we're going to be meeting a CEO that I know who recently got funded and whose career first started at the very bottom, making cups of coffee. So stay tuned for this one.